Hey guys, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Ready to Die Fighting. I'm Chris, and today I'm talking about fitness for preppers. And I know what you're thinking. Don't you always talk about fitness for preppers? No, I don't. I consider this to be a channel that's about fitness for preppers and survival fitness, or whatever you want to call it. But I realized that I have not actually made a video that is dedicated to the topic of fitness for preppers. I talk about fighting all the time, and occasionally about guns or some exercises that I'm doing, but I actually haven't talked about fitness for preppers. So that's what I want to do today. And I have some thoughts written down that I'm going to reference here that I've sloppily written down. I'm not going to show it to you because it is very sloppy. And so I was thinking about it, and someone actually asked, was like, well, what kind of exercises should you be doing to get in shape specifically for prepping? And I thought that was a good question. And so it's something that I have thought about in the past, and I have goals set up in mind for me personally. And I have for a while, and I'm working towards those, checking some of them off here and there over the past few months. But I thought I would kind of share some of those thoughts as well, so that you guys knew maybe big picture of what I was doing. There is a rhyme and reason to it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about why you need to prepare. Why you need to have fitness. To me, it's fairly obvious, and you probably already know the importance of it. You know, it's important to be in good shape and to be healthy now. You take away all of our luxuries and inconveniences and machines and computers, and everything is literally resting on your own shoulders and your own two hands to get this work done and all the things that you need to do, and it's going to be tough. You're going to need to be in shape. Manual labor is going to be the norm. Manual physical labor, and that's something that most of us just are not used to. So the way I see it, you're first and foremost just going to want a base level of general health. You know, you want to be the proper weight for your age, gender, body type, you know, all that. I can't tell you what that is. That's for you and your doctor, and, you know, to figure that out. But just a general baseline of health. And I think there's a lot of benefits to that. I'm not going to dig into that too much. But specific to prepping, I think if you look at a lot of the disasters that happen, a lot of the ones that you may be planning for, it kind of falls into, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different categories of things that I think you need to be physically prepared to do. And I kind of have them written in order of not necessarily a likelihood, but I guess maybe the orders that they would happen. Like if it's just a short-term catastrophe versus a long-term, you may need more of these things. So I think the most likely thing that you're going to need to be able to do is construction, repair, cleanup type of thing. I think of hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, did I say earthquakes? I don't know. That sort of thing. There's a lot of damage, and the aftermath involves a lot of cleanup and just removing debris, removing trees that have fallen down, chopping them down. You may have pallets that you're breaking up, or unloading boxes of supplies, or pulling garbage out of buildings and whatnot. That's just really a lot of lifting, a lot of muscular strength and endurance. Even if the stuff isn't super heavy, you know, digging a hole, shoveling snow, you know, just that motion over and over again, that's going to cause a lot of stress on the joints and the muscles, especially in the back. And so I think that's going to be the main thing that you really want to prepare for is that. You know, I think back to just every winter I have to shovel snow, and if it's a heavy enough snow where I really had to go out and shovel, you know, an hour of shoveling and my back is aching, you're exhausted. That's hard work. The next day I may be sore even. Now imagine in a disaster, you're probably going to have to clean up for more than an hour. If it takes you an hour, I don't know that I can call it a disaster. That's just more of an inconvenience. You know, that's you're going to probably be cleaning all day, every day for several days to try to get things back to the way they were. Cleaning, building, repairing, um, moving things around. That's going to be your life for days, weeks, months, depending on what happened. So building that core strength, especially the back, is going to be important. The next thing that I think is very likely is search and rescue. Um, Again, I'm thinking floods, earthquakes, disasters like that, or maybe even just being lost in the woods or whatever. Um, you're going to be doing a lot of the same stuff as with the construction. Just kind of going to go hand in hand, those two. The addition I would add to that is you're probably going to be walking a lot on top of it, potentially carrying maybe medical supplies or some sort of rescue equipment or whatever. So add walking to all that lifting, and I think that's the exercises that you need to be focusing on to cover search and rescue. Maybe need to be climbing as well. Yeah. The next thing that's probably going to happen is evacuation and travel. Maybe cars are no longer an option and you have to travel by foot or maybe by bike. You're going to need to have to walk for long distances, potentially. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but let's plan for walking long distances multiple days in a row, walking 20, 30 miles every day. And on top of that, you're probably going to have to set up a tent or move things around. You're going to be carrying a bag with you. So I would highly recommend walking probably with your bug out bag or a weighted vest or something to simulate what you might actually be doing. Even if you're just carrying something in your arms, walk a long distance with it and see how that works out for you. And like I said, keep them in mind, a lot of these things won't be happening by themselves. It's entirely possible you may have to walk 10 miles and then do a search and rescue and then continue walking more. Or you may have to walk 10, 20 miles and now you're someplace and now you have to build something or repair something or lift some things and dig some holes and all that after walking all these distances. So they're not necessarily in isolation. You probably want to prepare for all of these things. And they all kind of build on each other. Somewhere in there, you may have to defend yourself. And maybe you don't have a gun, maybe it's inaccessible, maybe it's not appropriate for the situation. Fighting for your life. And that doesn't necessarily have to be actually physically fighting. It can tie into the next one of escape and evasion. I consider that all kind of, that's all fighting for your life. I mean, I guess all of it's fighting for your life, but I guess if we want to focus specifically on combat, you just really got to take a martial arts class for that one. And some tactical training. And I think that's kind of a workout all on its own. I don't know that if without doing some kind of fighting training, I don't know that I can recommend a certain exercise to prepare you for combat if you're not actually training for combat. You build all the muscle you want if you don't know how to throw a punch, if you don't know how to take a punch, if you don't know how to fight. I don't know that a bunch of muscles are going to help you. I mean, it'll help to a certain extent, but technique beats might every time. And then that leads into escape and evasion. Maybe I should flip-flop those two. Maybe you're probably better off trying to escape and evade before fighting. So I probably said that out of order, actually. But yeah, and so that would be, ideally, if you could learn some parkour, that would be your best bet. I mean, that would be the goal, right? But that's pretty intense. And I've actually done a little parkour when I was younger, and that was hard when I was younger. That is some intense stuff, but there's a lot of good things that come with that would be really helpful. But mostly your focus is really, you want to build up agility. You want to be able to sprint, like high speed running for your life. Ideally, work up to the point where you can sprint and then potentially fight a little bit and then sprint again. That may be the reality. Sprint and then shoot and then sprint again. You may need to sprint over to an injured friend, apply some medical attention to them, pick them up in a fireman's carry, and you won't probably be able to full-on sprint carrying a person, but get out of there as quickly as you can. So, like I said, this stuff all builds on itself, on each other. Let's see. After that, you may get to the point where now you need to hunt or trap or forage for food. And that's going to involve a lot of walking. That's going to be carrying supplies to do those things. That's going to be once you catch something, you have to carry it back. You have to get processes if it's some sort of meat, or if you've found a bunch of berries or whatever, apples, I don't know, depending on what it is, and you get enough of it, it could be a significant amount of weight. You now have to carry that. You may have to carry water jugs. It doesn't have to necessarily be wild food. It could be water that you're foraging. You got to be able to carry that water. And water is heavy. Water gets heavy real fast. And then lastly, farming and gardening. And farming and gardening, I think you're probably working the same things as you are with the construction and cleaning. You're going to be digging, you're going to be carrying things, moving things, pulling weeds, harvesting. All that stuff is you're working your back mostly. Back-breaking work. They call it that phrase for a reason, right? And so those are the things that I think you need to plan for, the type of physical activities that you need to expect once the event happens, whatever it is. So I will split this up. This video is already longer than I thought it would be. And I think I'll do some videos covering some exercises for each one of those specific categories. But hopefully this will get you thinking about what type of exercises you should be doing, or what your goals even should be. Oh, I just realized I missed climbing a rope. Climbing a rope would be a helpful thing. You've fallen down someplace, someone's come to rescue, they throw a rope down, and if you don't know how to climb it, you don't have the strength or agility or mobility to climb that rope, even when you're in good shape, you're definitely not going to be able to if you've fallen down something and now you're potentially injured. Learn how to climb a rope and get good at that. Sorry, I just saw that I missed it. So this hopefully will give you some ideas on things that you can work on. Leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I think I make good videos. If you think so too, hit that button. All right, catch you next time.